Hi everyone, so this is our attempt to debunk a haunted headstone story here in Plainwell, Michigan of the dog headstone that gets up, spins around, shakes on the anniversary of its owner's death. So it took us several days to film, to research, to try to really find out if we could debunk this headstone. So the story goes that on November 1st, 1938, a little boy was walking across the street and was hit by a car. Oh, the agony of this death broke the heart of the little boy's dog, and the dog was then buried, and a dog headstone was put over the grave of the little boy. So on the anniversary of his death on November 1st, this dog gets up, turns around, lays back down. So we're going to look into this because there's two headstones here in Plainwell, or two cemeteries here in Plainwell rather, that have dog headstones in them. So let's see what we can find. Cemetery with a dog monument on top of him, and the story is that it moves. However, the date that people talk about is 1938. However, in 1938, in November, cannot find any records or any stories of a child dying in town at that time, and it would have definitely been in the paper. I mean, if someone drove from Little Plainwell up to Big Town Kalamazoo for an afternoon joyride, it was in the paper. So a kid's death would have been in the paper. So right now, we are gonna go drive to a secondary cemetery, an old, much older cemetery here in Plainwell, to look at the headstone that I think was the one that kind of created the story, but we don't know who that headstone belongs to. Stay tuned. Let's go look for a puppy.
You said you knew where a puppy was.
I do. But I want you, well, you guys are gonna kind of look for it, through it. So as you guys can see, this is a much older cemetery, a lot older headstones. 1914, 1878. So if someone was buried in the 30s, probably going to be more so up in this cemetery. And the kids have found the dog headstone that I have always thought that this story was based around. So if you come in the cemetery, it's in the back. So it's in like the southwest side of it, in this little section.
Where's the other piece?
It's broke off at some point. All right, in our adventure here, or endeavors and investigation to figure out if we can debunk the haunted headstone in Plainwell, Michigan. We have been going to the library. We've been looking up old newspapers, which you're gonna see throughout the episode here, because this has been filmed over multiple days. You know, some kids on their summer break go to zoos and stuff, but mine, we hang out at a cemetery. But we also go to the library in there, so that's good too. So, and they're super excited about this. It's like a, you know, it's kind of Nancy Drew style. So we're back here at Bicentennial Cemetery. We are going to get the names and dates off the headstones that are here by the dog, so we can go to the library, look it all up, and see if there is really any connection to somebody who might be buried here with the dog, or if it's maybe just a dog headstone. Since there's no records that we can find for the cemetery, we're gonna do our best to decipher everything. Okay guys, so here is the setup. We have this headstone in this kind of cornered in lot. This is Phyllis. Then we have Williams. And then we have the dog. We also have this flatter one, which I can't read. We've tried to do rubbing on it and it's not working. So if you guys can decipher what it is, freeze the screen and see what you think. I think it's actually flipped, possibly, because it looks like the letters are maybe upside down. But that may be a clue also as to who else is buried in this grave right here that the tree is now growing on. And I think this dog may have just been added maybe when a child was buried here, or just as a, hey, we had a dog and...
Yeah, this is our dog, so...
This is our dog, so...
Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy. If those are all lined up, maybe they just had these people lined up.
Yeah, there might be others that are in here as well.
Mama. Or it could mean that these are all family, but this dog could be that boy's dog over there, and this boy, that boy's dog, that boy, this could be his dog. And it could be buried in different cemeteries. I forgot that the boy was right here.
Who knows? But we're gonna keep investigating. All right, so then we've also now, this next to William and Phyllis is this Ruth, daughter of William and Phyllis Billingham. Can't make out completely the year here. Do you guys see? I mean, it looks like kind of 1812, but sometimes at an angle you can read it better. It's really, really worn. So see what you guys think of that. But they had a daughter at least, and she's buried here. Well, we're leaving the cemetery and the girls just wanted to point out these headstones. They kind of look like, I don't know, Children of the Corn headstones, where they're just coming out of the atcha. But that's kind of cool that this is all overgrown and it's kind of taking in the headstones. Wonder what else is in there. So we just spent some time at the library, looked at old newspapers, and they do not go back far enough to look in the Bellingham family. Did all sorts of searching around in different pages and things, and there is none. So unfortunately, we're lacking a lot of records to dive back far enough to see if the Bellinghams are connected to that older dogstone and if that's part of the mystery or not. So it took a couple days of filming and investigating, a couple trips to the library, looking in old newspaper records. Here's what we found. You tell me if you think this is debunked or not. even though people like to believe in ghost stories, sometimes you have to just tell the truth. So here goes. The story says that on November 1st, 1938, a little boy dies. We looked in the newspaper records from weeks before and weeks after November 1st of 1938, and there is no record of any deaths of any children. Everything was documented back then. Like if Martha Smith drove to Kalamazoo to have lunch with her cousin, it was in the newspaper. They detailed everything back in the day. So went and thought, let's look on November 1st for other years that are similar. November 1st, 1958. Warren Hofaker died when he walked across the street and got hit by a car. And yes, he was 5 years old, just like the story goes. Okay, great. So let's go find him in the cemetery. Looked up cemetery records. And what do you know? Little Warren has a dog headstone, just like they say. However, many people like to go to this old dog headstone at the other cemetery here in Plainwell, Bicentennial Cemetery, which you've seen, and consider that the haunted headstone. Well, that headstone was from way before 1938. Everyone in that family died in the 1800s. So, I mean, theoretically, sure, maybe someone was buried there from then, but that headstone's so worn that it was more than likely assumptions that that was from the 1800s as well. But it's creepier, looks better. We want that old decrepit headstone to get up and turn around, right? But this is the proven death of a little boy, 5 years old, on November 1st with a dog headstone here at Hillside Cemetery.
The other one's not proven.
Other one's not proven, but it looks creepier, right?
There is a dog.
There is a dog.
And it is November.
Nope, we have no dates. There's no dates on it. So we don't even know if there's a child buried there. We tried to look up the family, which was the Bellingham family, and the records don't go back that far in the libraries. So we can't even look up that family to see if it mentions any boys. They had a daughter named Ruth that was buried next to them in that cemetery, as you saw, but there's no record of anything else. So completely no basis behind what's out at that other cemetery, but this is a dog. So the kids, of course, want to, let's put a camera on this headstone on November 1st. So this year, maybe we'll be doing that to see if there's any activity here. But if you see any stories about that other cemetery here in Plainwell with that other stone, no, sorry. Sounds good, looks good. There's no basis to it.
And if that doesn't stand up, it must be the other one.
No, maybe neither of them do. Maybe they're just
so
stories.
We have to set 2 cameras?
Maybe. Maybe we'll do that.
But how come if it's a story, there's so much proof?
Well, because it sounds good and it's fun and it's a ghost story.
But there's proof.
Well, there's proof that a 5-year-old boy died on November 1st, got hit by a car, and there's a dog.
So much the same.
But we don't know that this doggy moves. So there's some stuff. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a real ghost story? Is it fun to debunk? Or would you rather believe in the myth of the haunted headstone that moves? Thanks, guys. Send us stories you want us to look into and cemeteries you want us to visit. Bye.